My mind is like my family's medicine cabinet. It is full of different things, which I need to respond to life, circumstances. Some things I've only needed once, like that medicine for that one time I got really sick. Probably get rid of that now. And other things I use almost daily, or should, like floss. Most of these things my mother put there, much like what I have in my mind. But if you looked in my mind, it wouldn't just have medicine in it. If my mind were a medicine cabinet, it would be filled with things like the ribbons I got when I learned that it's okay to sometimes get second place and not always get first place.
There would be the glue stick from when I learned that when Mother says you shouldn't eat something, she's always right. In my mind's medicine cabinet, I would have a Band-Aid. Because of the time that I learned that sometimes even when you say sorry and give someone a Band-Aid, doesn't always fix things all the way, though it does help it heal.
Now, Grandfather is sick. I don't know what to do. Ribbons and earphones don't make anything better. They can be useful to distract for a little bit, but it doesn't last. When we go to visit him in the hospital, it cheers him up most of the time, but doesn't make him well. He just gets worse and worse and hurts more and more. Last time we visited, he barely smiled. He's going home tomorrow because he doesn't want to die in the hospital. Mother is rarely home now. She goes over to visit Grandfather almost every day and stays over most nights. When she is home, I can tell her thoughts are still with Grandfather. Even so, some days are better than others. We used to go on long walks with Grandfather, and he would tell us about the trees and the animals. Now we go on long walks without him, and tell him about them later. Sometimes we bring back leaves and ask him to tell us about them and identify them for us, or we take pictures of the animal tracks and we show them to him. Throughout everything, Mother perseveres, keeps caring for Grandfather. She's cheerful whenever he gets better, but whenever he seems to get worse, she's very solemn. But she continues to care. It's been months, but she still goes to care for him. Some days I go with her, but it's boring and hard to see Grandfather dying. And I can tell it is hard for Mother to see her father suffering so much. Usually I end up reading in a different room, so I can avoid the tedious tasks, and so Mother doesn't ask me to help her clean. I see Mother crying more often now, but I don't think she knows that I see her. I've seen her cry before, when we watched Old Yeller when I was little, but that was different. Now I don't know what to do. Now there isn't any hope. Grandfather can't get better because he's dead. I didn't think it would actually happen, but I guess I knew it would. Now Mother goes to Grandfather's house to clean and sort through what he left. There's also paperwork to do. Death is more than a funeral or a burial. It's the sorting, and the praying, and the wondering who is right about what happens when you die, and arguing over who remembers Grandfather the best. Mother suffers through this, but somehow she still seems almost cheerful sometimes. I'm not sure how she does it. I just feel very bitter about everything. Today, Mother asked me to help her sort through some of Grandfather's old books. I said no. She didn't rebuke me, but looked sad. as she walked away. Later, she came back and gave me a book of poems that Grandfather got when he taught in Alaska. We used to always love to read it together. Later that day, I did open the book, and I sat poring over it for hours, looking over all the poems that we used to read together, remembering how I'd enjoy them, or some of the ones that he didn't like. And I realized so much more what Mother must actually be going through. I remember the love that I felt for Grandfather, and the love that he felt for me too, and the love he felt for Mother, and for everyone else in the family. And that even though some days when he was sick, he wasn't in a very good mood, and sometimes he would just be grumpy some of those days. His mother just always remembered that he was worth loving. Despite how difficult it was to care for him, despite how hard it was for her, he was worth more than that. He was worth caring for. I guess I can understand that a little better now. I guess in a way my mind really is like a medicine cabinet. Everything that's put in it is meant to help people. And it does no good if it's all shut up by itself. I have to be like Mother. Be open to other sufferings. And recognizing that they're worth loving no matter how difficult they can be sometimes, or how hard it can be for you. Though yes, my mind really is like a medicine cabinet.